The Nintendo Switch 2 has been leaked online, and we're going to be talking about the leaked design and also the leaked specs. Stay tuned for the rest of this video. Welcome back to YinYangTK, everyone, and yes, you heard it right. Breaking news from the Nintendo world that the Nintendo Switch 2, the design and specs have been leaked online from sort of a credible source, but again, it's up to you to decide if this is real. This is just me reporting, talking about how it looks like and what does the spec involve. So again, we're going to be looking at what is going on. So without further ado, we're going to be looking at what it looks like, and this right here is the supposedly leaked design of the Nintendo Switch 2 or the Nintendo next generation console. And if you remember from past videos, it was spoken that the Nintendo Switch 2 that we're giving the name is going to be more of an evolution instead of a revolution, meaning that it's going to be look exactly the same as the Nintendo Switch that we have right now. So if you're looking in front of your screen, we are seeing that this right now is the Nintendo Switch 2, the front of it. So already from the back, we can kind of see that the actual screen is a little bit bigger than before, and that we do see the Joy-Cons. I think it's kind of like a more curvy type of thing, but it looks exactly the same. It has both the Joy-Cons, it has the plus and minus button, it has the arrow buttons, the directional buttons, and then it also has the letter buttons as well. And as we go along, we go to the next picture, we do see that if you look there, it looks a lot different from the actual Switch Joy-Cons, because it kind of looks like they are magnetized in a way. Like it looks like sort of magnet in the in kind of like in the middle type of section. Maybe it's me, because if you remember from the Joy-Cons that we have right now, it's more like a snap type of thing, like a switch. Like when you move it has a switch, but I don't see a type of switch. I do see that in the middle of the Joy-Cons there is some sort of maybe magnets or something there that can kind of attach to it. We'll see. We're going to be looking at more of it as we go along. And then the next picture, we see the back side of the Joy-Con. I think that's the left side of it. So we do see, remnants of the past, but it's a little bit different right there. So, and then when we look at the next picture, that is the other side of the Joy-Con, I believe. And we do see a little bit different right here on this side, where you look at kind of like the buttons type of thing. And it's interesting because I don't see a little snap right there like it used to be. It doesn't have like that same type of feel. So, and as we go along here, you notice that this is probably like the motherboard, what it looks inside the Nintendo Switch, kind of like inside the screen where everything is. But then you also see the cases of the Joy-Cons as well, where it's kind of getting it. And if you notice right here, kind of like on the side, I don't see any type of snap attachment, kind of like what we see from the other, past, type of Joy-Con. So I think we're going to get more clarity as we go along. And this is the back side of the supposedly Switch 2. It looks exactly the same, a little bit different on the back. If you notice that the buttons here on each of the corners are kind of like going towards like a slanter type of thing. Because if you notice that, with the actual Switch, the buttons are kind of like at the bottom type of thing, but we'll see. But then in the bottom of the case, you do see that it does have a large stand, so it's going to look exactly kind of like the one from the OLED model instead of that little kickstand. So that is a good improvement. And then this is probably the top of the actual Nintendo Switch 2. So it does have, the buttons right here, the L, the R buttons. It has the ventilation system. It has the on and off button. It has the volume up, volume down. And then here on the right, it it looks like it's kind of be like the opening for the cartridges. So it is going to be using physical media, which is good. That is very good. So I think Nintendo kind of is seeing what, Xbox and PlayStation is doing, that they're trying to deviate away or drive away from physical media, but Nintendo says no, not on my watch. We are all about physical media, and we're going to continue to be physical media no matter what the cost, since the chips are not that expensive. It's because we're not talking about CDs. And this is the bottom of the Nintendo Switch 2. Not that much different, right? I can see that at the bottom right here. That's where you can connect it to, I guess, the dock and also the AC adapter in order for you to charge, your Nintendo Switch. And then we go further to the other picture. So we are seeing here, look how the difference of the screen. So the screen on the top is probably going to be the screen that is going to be used in the Nintendo Switch 2. Look at the comparison between that screen on the top to the bottom. I believe that the bottom is the actual screen size of the Switch that we have now, the OLED, and it is a huge improvement, big improvement, just from the eye view, that it's going to be like a bigger screen that on your handheld. And then on the back, we do see kind of like the difference. So in the bottom, this is kind of like the first generation, like on the Switch, where they had like the kickstand, and then the top one, I would imagine that is going to be how it's going to look like going further. So it's not going to have that little kickstand. It's going to be a huge kind of back stand that's going to help you kind of play the game in case of like you're playing with friends and you're using that kind of screen, to kind of help you play like multiplayer. And then we also see the Joy-Cons as well, kind of like a close-up. So again, we do see the plus, we see the home button, we see the picture button, we see the Joy-Con, we see the the different letter buttons. And then here on the very left side where you see those buttons right there, it could be used for multi-gaming. But again, the Joy-Cons look a little different than before. And then this is the other side of the Joy-Con, where you see the minus, and then you see the Joy-Con, I mean the I guess the analog stick, I should say, and then also the directional buttons, right? So not too bad. And again, so I'm gonna pull out a article that was earlier published earlier today, talking about the Switch and and what does the leak mean in general? Is it something that we have to pay attention to, right? So in this moment, it's kind of taking those pictures from Andy Robinson, Andy VGC, right? And it says here that the images are also in line with the earlier reports of the Switch 2 design. Previously, publications including VGC reported that the Switch successor would include a larger 8 screen, and a Nintendo patent suggested that would be opting for a new magnetic attachment for its controllers. Two sources of VGC spoke to last year suggested that the console could launch with an LCD screen instead of a more premium OLED screen in order to bring costs down, especially considered the increased storage needed for higher fidelity games. Chinese peripheral maker Mobipad also previously claimed that the Switch 2 handheld will support 1080p resolution, and its new dock will support 4K resolution. When Nintendo has refrained from making any specific comments about future hardware, when asked about features like backwards compatibility, the company plans to announce its next console during its current fiscal year, which runs until March 31st, 2025. Last month, it was claimed that developers has been briefed not to expect the Nintendo Switch console to launch before April 2025. So we already are seeing some, interesting things going on with the Nintendo Switch, right? So it is really interesting to see, what's going on with everything that's, with the rumors of Nintendo Switch 2, when is it going to be launched? And believe it or not, at the time of this recording, we're talking about Wednesday, September 18, 2024. if you look at the past Nintendo account on Twitter, this was kind of like the anniversary when they announced the Nintendo Switch for the first time, which was coded like hashtag NX, right? So, and another thing that we also saw is that there is a new magnetic attachment for the controller. So the controllers themselves are magnetic. That I think that's why we were seeing some of the things, right? So it is very cool to see. And now here is where the specs are part of the equation, and it's going to be interesting to see that. So I'm going to make this bigger so you guys can see exactly like what is going on with the specs. So it says here, right? So the rumored leaked photos of the Nintendo Switch 2 design, while the images are unverified, one source who has not seen the final Switch 2 console has been briefed from Nintendo plans, told VGC that the Reddit images match what the company was told partners to expect from the design. So this is the specs of everything that has to do with the Nintendo Switch, right? From a verified source. So it talks about the CPU and the GPU, and then the model number, the memory model, the dual channel, the flash memory model, the audio chip model, the NFC reader model, the built-in microphone model, the dual cooling fans model, the copper gaming heatsink. And the heatsink is already something important to talk about, especially that it's not going to make your Switch 2 very hot. The video signal conversion display port to HDMI must be chip model, and then must be a chip model to support HDMI 2.1. So that also can mean that it could go up to 4K if you put it in the dock. And then it continues that the network chip model and the gigabyte Ethernet chip, the base has a network cable interface, a microcontroller chip model, the video game console perspective case model that is made out of plastic. And then you see the size that it says the size is 206 times 115 times 14 millimeters. That's the plastic. And then the speaker Musebox L and the Musebox R, the 2-channel stereo. So over there, that is telling you exactly how the model looks like and all the specs that includes. So what about you guys? What do you guys think about the Nintendo Switch 2? Do you think that these leaks are legitimate, or is this another type of goose chase that it's all for the clicks? For my personal opinion, it does look like if it's true that the Joy-Cons are going to be magnetic instead of clicking, that could be a game changer. You're not going to lose your Joy-Cons or your controllers very easily. And then also that you're going to have a bigger screen, and it's going to be 1080p, which is something that a lot of gamers were asking for. And the most important thing, that if it's going to be backwards compatible, because that means that a lot of your Switch games could be carried over to Nintendo, from Nintendo Switch to Nintendo Switch 2. That already could beat PlayStation and Xbox out of the water. So what about you guys? What did you guys think about the models? What do you guys think about the specs? And what do you guys think about the theories surrounding this Nintendo Switch 2? Write your comments below. If you like the content of this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the notifications so you know future videos are available. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And again, stay awesome.